Alright folks, here we are, back at Game 2 of the Premier League Season 5 Radiance Cup Grand Finals. These are the finals of the 4th Cup of 7 that are being held in the season of the Premier League, followed by, of course, a playoff that will cap off the season in the end. So, VP seizing a Game 1 victory. They have 2 opportunities to close this series out. Alliance, of course, has 2 opportunities to bring it back, and they are the defending champions. Our first champion was EG, then Mouse, then Alliance, and Virtus Pro, I think, seeks to be the 4th. Casting for you today, I'm Vykromond. You may have expected Blaze, but unfortunately, well, fortunately for him, unfortunately for maybe those of us who wanted to check out his casting again, he is out. He is celebrating his wedding anniversary. So, I'm here in his stead, and joining me once again for, I don't know, maybe the last time, maybe not the last time today, TriumphOfMan. How are you?
The last time, I doubt it. Anyway, so we've got the Lone Druid being banned by Virtus Pro, decide they don't want to play against either Alliance now. Question is, will they leave the tree alone? They left it through last time, they picked it up themselves. Virtus Pro, though, very, very effectively shutting down that lane. Alliance also banning out the Lifestealer as well. They will allow the they will allow the tree to go through. Batrider also being banned by Alliance. Virtus Pro, though, I don't think they have any worries about that tree. The question, though, is whether or not to worry about the... I mean, the big question, of course, is it tree? Is it specifically tree, or is it specifically tree plus obsidian?
That is a question. Or tree plus Weaver. I mean,
yeah,
those sorts of combos. Weaver just as strong, I feel. But yeah, I agree. I feel like the jury is still out for first picking tree on teams that aren't named Quantic / Divide the Svidanya. I feel like they're the only ones that really consistently, it looks stable. Like, sure, EG managed to take out over Quantic with picking the tree, but it was... it was rough going.
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, specifically Weaver, of course, Weaver's kind of irritating to try and kill. It's not the irritating to try and kill that really bothers me about the Quantic and... about the tree and the OD. It's specifically the amount of damage OD can dish out, even without good items. Like, you just land a Sanding's Eclipse on there against the right lineup, and boom! That's your lineup gone. It's everybody's dead.
Absolutely.
So, and of course, Arcane Orb, it does a ridiculous amount of damage as well. So he's got tons and tons of damage to, like, basically blast out. So he's the kind of hero who can come back really quick. Whereas Weaver, sure, he'll be a huge pain in the ass to kill, but doesn't do a whole lot early on. So, I mean, if your Trilion's getting smashed, something like the OD can turn it around instantaneously, but Weaver not so much. Take a little while to get going. That said, Alliance, it looks like we're going to be seeing some IO Sven stuff. Assuming Sven actually makes it through the banning phase, of course, he's a pretty common ban against that. But Virtus Pro, there we go, they want that Nature's Prophet again. Gyrocopter also being picked up, and the question is whether or not Alliance will allow the Naga Siren to go through as well. We've been seeing that get banned against Virtus Pro consistently.
Yeah, and they take up the Chaos Knight nice and early. They have IO, CK. This is the classic combo, and we haven't seen it in a while, so it's definitely a combo with a tremendous amount of potential, especially to end games fast. And so, by the way, folks, it looks like there's an issue with the ticket. We will remake after a draft, most likely, if you're watching in-game. Or rather, if you're not watching in-game, since apparently there's some sort of issue with it.
Okay, I don't want to... But, I mean, I've had some weird bugs today.
Probably
The Chinese casters being audible. I mean, weird stuff.
Weird.
But Tree being banned. And we have the Darkseid being banned as well, though. Virtus Pro decided they don't want to face against that. But Alliance... I like the Counter-Strike. If it's going to do anything, it's really, really going to ruin Nature's Prophet's day, just because he can't split push against that combo. Every time he tries to split push, IO and Counter-Strike go, you know what? Free money right over there. Let's go take that.
That's certainly true.
Yeah. So it means he gets, like, that's his big deal. Like, he really gets shut down there. So it will kind of force Alliance. And the other thing, it will force Virtus Pro to sort of bunch up a 5-man. That said, I mean, they kind of like doing that anyway, so not a big deal for him, I guess, in the long run.
Yeah, it's hardly fatal. I mean, VP, it's just pretty simple. It's about, can they withstand the barrage that the Chaos Knight and IO are going to bring in the mid-game? And if they can, more often than not, you're going to win. It's certainly possible to come back, but it's not terrifically probable. And Alliance right now, I think their decision is Disruptor or not Disruptor, because that is a hero that we have seen teams deputize to try to respond to this IO Chaos Knight.
Yeah, I mean, as long as Gyrocopter doesn't get pinned down by Chaos Knight immediately, if he can get the BKB up before he gets Reality Rifted and slammed by the stuns, the Flat Cannon will just mean Chaos Knight's illusions will just get completely and utterly destroyed. And of course, I mean, Chaos Knight, a big source of his scale, his damage and his DPS, it comes out of those illusions. So if you just basically obliterate them really quickly, he's not such a big threat. Clockwork, though, if anything's going to help pin down the Gyrocopter, though, Clockwork That's a pretty big deal. Alliance grabbing that one up. And here's the question: do you think we'll see Bulldog in that Suicide Solo Clockwork, or will this
Most
be a
likely.
solo mid S4?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think almost certainly it will be Bulldog. Look at how many bans and picks VP have expended to rob Bulldog of heroes. The Darkseer gone, the Bounty
Wow,
Hunter gone, the
wow.
Lone Druid gone, the Nature's Prophet. He can still play like Magnus off lane, I guess, but I think they'll just go solo hard Clockwork and something else. I think that's something that Alliance will be comfortable with. Bulldog's Clockwork, we actually haven't seen it in a while, but it's been done some very impressive things in the past.
Plot twist brought to you by M. Night Shyamalan. Ding Dong will be Chaos Knight Io, and then a third hero offensive Tri-Lane Clockwork safe lane. Who knows? But Lina being
Sure.
picked up, maybe not against the Lina Rubik Gyro. In fact, no, I doubt they go for it against the Lina Rubik Gyro, just because Chaos Knight will try and Reality Rift him in, and the Gyrocopter will just hit his Rocket Barrage and win, basically.
Yeah, I mean, NS getting to reprise his role on the Rubik, he's going to be very, very happy with that. If he can keep Alliance reading off his script in this second game, it'll be almost as scary as it was. I mean, their lineup is extremely similar. The only thing is the substitute of the Lina for the Leshrac, so this is really a choice of, they've traded in a little bit of push for a little bit more damage. So,
You
but
know what?
honestly, this is an extremely similar lineup.
You know what? With that lineup there, I would be complete. I mean, with Virtus Pro's lineup, I would be completely comfortable. Offensive Tri-Lane. And like that lineup against like Wisp is going to have nothing to offer that, and Chaos Knight doesn't want to try and fight the Gyro, because if he tries to dive the Gyro, even tries to save somebody from Gyro with the Reality Rift and then stun and try and fight Gyro, he's just going to Rocket Barrage. It will wreck him. We saw that, like, even something as tanky last match as Loda on the Alchemist just got completely ruined by that Rocket Barrage. And when he's backed up now by two stuns, like the Rubik, the Lina, and of course Lina arguably has better burst damage, I think, than the Leshrac, so that's really, really scary. And I think, and now they've picked up a jungler too, and Io, Chaos Knight, and Enchantress, that's, if they go offensive, that's no farm for Chaos Knight.
Yeah, the 3v3 is going to be a delicate situation. They've taken note that they have drafted Enchantress when Chen is available. This is again a trade of, they want a little bit more early game, so and we're talking very early game. Enchantress in the first 3 or so levels, the ability to have multiple creeps charmed rather than Chen, who only mind controls one of them, is a big deal early on in clashes, and her heal comes a lot earlier. She does just as good damage, if not better, and maybe that's the scale tipper they need in this 3v3, or maybe they might even try to dodge the 3v3 and try to get a 3v1 matchup.
I think they were almost hoping to have a 2v1 Nature's Prophet in the Suicide Lane and then have Enchantress jungle. And then, like, just push for an early tower. That said, I don't think it's going to. Looking at that lineup, that to me screams offensive Tri-Lane, Windrunner solo mid, Yamato style, and then Nature's Prophet takes the safe lane. I think they'll be very happy to try and fight Io and Chaos Knight in the hard lane, and taking the hard lane against them.
Yeah.
I think that'll work out for them just fine. That said, I mean, you brought this up earlier. If the Tri-Lane, for some reason, this Tri-Lane backfires, we're going to have a very underfarmed, underleveled Rubik and Lina who won't offer a whole lot at all, and Gyrocopter won't be looking too good. And a squishy Gyrocopter is food for Chaos Knight. So this either works or it explodes spectacularly in a complete and utter mess. That said, solo midwise, Clockwork. Oh, whoa, wait a minute, that's a Bulldog. That's a Bulldog Clockwork. Oh dear.
It is.
I was going to say Clockwork versus Windrunner. Windrunner's going to do really well against that, and then they pick Outworld Devourer. Windrunner is screwed.
Windrunner is going to have a tough time, and we do have to have a remake. We gotta have to have a very, very quick remake here, folks. We'll be right back into it. I apologize for that, but it's bugged. We had a bug, and now I'm going to fix it ASAP. Just like... Oops, jumping right back into it in just like 30 seconds at most, folks. I do apologize for that. We had some weird technical issues. I would say 99.9% of which are my fault, so I'm well and willing to take the blame for that. It's completely...
Make sure you go AP.
God, it changed the server again. God damn it.
Okay, so Windrunner. It's not looking good. Intelligence hero, mana dependent versus an OD. Ouch.
It's certainly not easy. And Tamai Wild, I mean, if he was careful the first game, which he was, I gotta give it up to him. He only died once over the course of the entire game one. In fact, NS took, I think, almost the plurality of deaths for VP went to NS, but the flip side is he made things happen. But Tamai Wild, he's going to have to be even more careful, almost passive this game. That said, NS and Arsart on the Rubik and the Lina, could they make things happen by ganking Outworld Devourer?
I think definitely possible. I mean, they might even just say, screw this. Like, if they were planning an offensive trial, this may just say, you know, bugger this. Just rotate or even just leave that lane open and have Prophet just farm. And in fact, I think they'll actually need to. There's no way Prophet's going to stand up against that lane. He will get pooped on by the Wisp and the Chaos Knight. The double stuns and stuff completely screw him over, and the Rift to bring him in. And then Enchantress comes up there and breaks it down. So I think if they're going to do this, he'll have to jungle. And yeah, if they just basically go and gank him non-stop, maybe that'll be enough to slow him down.
Maybe. I mean, certainly he doesn't have that protection of the
Look at those smokes.
Double smoke right from the beginning. Alliance, if this works, if they get these smoke ganks off, they can get quick levels, they can move EGM. He's hit 6. He actually was the fastest level 6 non-mid Wisp I've ever seen in my life the other day. I don't remember whether it was G1 or Star Ladder or some other tournament, but he, in the support role Wisp, hit level 6 at like 5 minutes 55 seconds. If they can get some early ganks and then he can get that jungle farm that he had that time, this could hit way, way, way before VP have any method of dealing with it.
And Virtus Pro, they smoke up and they will find absolutely zip. Nothing here.
That's certainly true. I guess we should go ahead and introduce the teams, since we did have a little bit of a break in a remake there. Virtus Pro, they're up 1-0. They want this 2-0, but they'll have to get through the mid-game first. Tamai Wild in the middle as the Windrunner. The Trilane will be composed of Arsart, using this new Lina cosmetic on Lina. NS on the Rubik. Illidan, Airman on the Gyrocopter. And that leaves KSI going up into what looks to me like probably the jungle, maybe, as Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, I think Jungle Nature's Prophet. I think they are rotating away. If they were going to play offensive, I think the OD completely crippled those plans. If they were going to play an offense trial, so they are just going to come back over here and do their own trial. That said, no, wait a minute.
Nope.
I thought he'd jungle, but KSI, maybe he's just going to try and jack one wave here. Perhaps. With the Trance and then go. Because I mean, look at his items. There's no way he's going to try and lane with no regen. I don't think.
I agree. I guess go ahead and introduce Alliance though.
Oh, yeah, Alliance, sorry, my bad. We've got S4 playing the Solar Mid, Outworld Destroyer, and Devourer rather. Aki playing Enchantress, no surprise. Loader on the Chaos Knight, EGM on Io, and Admiral Bulldog playing the Suicide... Oh, wait a minute. Where's Bulldog? Bulldog's in the safe lane being supported, and Loader is at the Suicide lane? I'm not 100% sure. I think maybe they thought that it was going to be an offensive troll lane. And now they're going to rotate.
Sure, for certain values of they, since Ake is happily farming away in the dire jungle here. He doesn't seem to have any compunction. That will be, honestly, a little bit of a mix-up, but it's more consequential than you might think. It's a lot of lost XP for Chaos Knight. Sure, he's got good movement speed, but he still has to tromp all the way from the bottom lane to the top, and I wonder what happened there, honestly. That's a lot of wasted CK time.
I think they really were expecting, like you saw, like we were expecting initially the offensive tri-lane, especially since they did it last game.
Sure.
They were expecting the offensive tri-lane there with the gyro and the 2 stunning supports. And then, like, he was expecting to go 1v1 against Nature's Prophet and go, you know, this is going to be an easy farm for me. I can handle this fairly easily. And Nature's Prophet, I mean, can't really get that aggressive a lot with the shield. If he tries to get aggressive, it's Reality Rift and stun time, and they get smacked around by that club. So, as it is, they rotate. It's going to cost them a little bit, but not too much in the long run. And there we go. KSI says, bugger this. I'm out. Teleports into the forest, and he'll be farming that jungle.
Makes perfect sense, frankly. He did his best there. He actually got to level 2.5, so not bad progress there. But here it goes. Astral Imprisonment in the middle. They've got the clap from the Ursa. They've got the Satyr to go through, and yes, that's a first blood for S4. Tamai Wild never had a chance there. Just a quick first blood. They get on the board. Ake gets a little bit of XP, and this mid lane just went from tough to really hard.
And there we go, Astral Imprisonment. I think he'd been spamming the power shot, and he didn't even have enough to Windrun, I'm pretty sure there.
He didn't.
That's definitely unfortunate for him. There we go. See, he's spamming this power shot. We'll need to be careful he doesn't use up too much of its mana. He's going to be harassing very heavily. Like, he's doing a fair bit of damage to S4 still. And I think if he's going to get the damage and harass in, it's now. When the Astral Imprisonment is a lower level and he can't spam it as hard as he'd like.
I agree.
Because he's not proccing the Essence Aura as frequently.
I think that's a great point. The earlier the better for Taimai Wild to try to get the harass in while he's physically capable of doing so, before OD really starts to ramp up. Getting that Tranquil Boots, of course, the choice of choices. Uh-oh, was Taimai Wild too far forward? There's the stun from the Centaur Conqueror, already dumping mana onto him, damage rather, I should say. Windrun ends, he's using the healing salve. Will he be able to make it to the safety of his tower? It's so close, he's at 4 HP, one more, yes! OD picks up another kill, 2-0. And I think you correctly identified this Triumph as the toughest lane for VP, and they've got to get their ganking into shape soon, I think, otherwise OD will just dominate.
I think it's interesting. I don't really like NS. Like they must really want these early items or farm there on NS, just because, to be honest, Bulldog is not going to be that much of a threat at this low level to Gyrocopter. I think they can really afford just to leave him alone and just go. Like they really need to shut down this S4. He's already level 5. I mean, it's 3 minutes in and he's level 5. Nearly, he's going to be level 6 within the minute or so. That's a very early level 6 and early farm as well. They need to get these supports in here. They've got the smoke now on Lena. They need to jump him, especially since Enchantress has been so active as well. They need to counter.
I agree. S4, you can just see how strong he feels in this lane. He really feels like he's secured enough an advantage that he's completely safe to hang out on high ground.
And look,
I think
Aki's
VP,
coming again.
Oh man, yet again with another smoke. I mean, this is the multiple smoke strategy that they used. Alliance are playing like VP. They're just going for the throat right from the beginning. He's still got the Centaur Conqueror, full mana. He's got the Satyr Tormentor, does a lot of damage, frankly, with that Shockwave on a low HP target like early Windrunner. And NS, they're just moving Bulldog. But in the meantime, Taimai Wild, the Astral Imprisonment, he is in a pretty safe spot. I'm actually not sure this is the right time for Rapier to come in. Yeah, he decides to peel off, at least for the time being. And Taimai Wild receives the Stay of Execution. I don't even know if he knows about it, but he has.
And there we go. In fact, I think they might. He's hunting around. I think he's possibly hoping that Nature's Prophet is going to come here to try. He's hoping Nature's Prophet is going to come here, teleport, and under the safety of the tower, try and keep the creep off the tower. I think that's his game plan here. The question is whether or not KSI goes up there. He is pretty much out of mana and health, so I don't think he'll go. And in the end, they might just decide to go and push the tower. He is running at a creep too. Aki is about to have all of his creep expire.
Yeah. I think it's daring VP to try to defend this tower, and if they do, Aki comes around. If they don't, he doesn't care. Yeah, his Centaur Conqueror is out of time, so he's ready to show himself. Just mind controls one of the enemy creeps, and then pulls away this entire wave. So this is probably the first tower down, and it's in favor of Alliance. Now 2 kills and a tower, and EGM, I mean, almost level 4, actually. Getting pretty good leveling speed on this Wisp. On this IO, I should say.
And you look at that S4 already, Tranquil Boots and the Buckler well on his way. I mean, he could even disassemble the Tranquil Boots to help build his headdress if he wants as well. And the tower is down. He's up to 850 gold once again. Meanwhile, bottom lane, how's Bulldog's still level 2? He's not really coping in this lane all that well. And I mean, he can't push down and see, like even get within leech range because he's been scouting consistently. The rockets, he's firing them into here, just seeing what the hell's going on. And he sees the supports are always hanging around in here.
Sure.
So he's really wary about pushing down.
Yeah, and Airman going again for the Helm of the Dominator first. So he did this in the last game. It paid off. What do you think about this time? Does he need more defensive items to try to respond to the CK IO, or is he going to stabilize in time that it's going to be just fine to take this early Helm?
That's kind of... I think he can get away with it for the moment. Because the problem is if he rushes that BKB, he's going to wind up with kind of crappy charges. So I don't think he can afford to rush. And the thing is, they do have Lena at the very least. So if Lena can get that 6, and like if they get the telekinesis on him, and Lena gets the levels out of this, and she has like sort of the level 2 Laguna Blade or so, they can probably make OD explode.
Sure.
I think. Between the mass nukes, I think they can make it happen. Between the cooldown, if they just pop that off and then telekinesis and Laguna Blade, I think they've got this. They can just basically have the threat there that OD will get exploded. So they're going to have to be careful about how hard they push. Sure, they probably get the tier 1s, probably tier 2s, but I doubt they can push onto the high ground and get the tier 3s.
Sure.
That easily.
It's going to be much harder, and it would be nice to pop the OD. I mean, at 450 gold per minute with those, the first blood, the second kill, the tower kill, and great farm. He's already getting there. I mean, he's very close to Mechanism, frankly. Yeah, he's so close. He's 70 gold off, even without the Tranquil Boots disassembly, which, I mean, that gives him more opportunities to proc his Essence Aura, as well as having the Mechanism and the good movement speed. This is a OD that's feeling very, very comfy. And Tamai
Yeah,
Wild, he's in danger again as well. Okay, he wants to move in. There's no wards here for VP, but he just needs the positioning. Tamai Wild, has he actually spotted this? He puts a ward down. Now, Ake will be able to counter wards. This ward is not long for this world. At the very least, Tamai Wild stabs off death.
Yeah, it's probably just like, oh shit, that's brown trousers time when you see that coming at you. And they're like, I'll just chuck down this ward. Holy crap, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
As it looks like Aki, though, just going to chill around the mid lane here. He's only level 4 at the moment. Too bad considering the amount he's been ganking at the moment. And is he going to go and explore the enemy jungle? That is a risky choice.
Well, I think it's risky, but EGM level 6 on IO.
Okay, he's just trying to counter ward. There we go. He throws in a counter ward, but unfortunately he's spotted up. He could actually get jumped. Actually, no, probably not. His ward behind him should keep him safe at the moment. He'll see any trouble coming from behind there. Bulldog, though, also rotating. Should have mentioned the Bulldog's going to max out the battery assault first.
Okay, I actually like this a lot. It's definitely the DPS approach. He can keep it at 2 and rank other things as well, but it's the ideal way to DPS when you're stuck at such a low level. And Clockwork, a hero who really does enjoy being at parity of levels, but if you're behind, Battery Assault will catch you up the fastest just in terms of what damage you're doing. Not the worst flash farming skill either, frankly, in concert, of course, with the Rocket.
I mean, with the Astral Imprisonment, like, even if he's not level 6 or can't land the hook, it's on cooldown or whatever, just can't get in. Astral Imprisonment lasts a very long time, so, I mean, he can get in there. It'll just give him that opening.
Ake is baiting so hard. He's been baiting for minutes now. He was baiting in the river. Now he's baiting. Look at how far forward. And VP are just like, no, thank you. Unsuccessful bait.
I had Lena rotated there. Lena as well as the Rubik rotate. I think he would get blown up really quickly. Like, OD, of course, can hit hard, but he's not going to save him. Like, if he gets chain stun, doesn't get his heal off, he's dead.
I agree. You might lose the Enchantress, but what if they go for you with 3 players, you lose the Enchantress, but the Chaos Knight IO come in and clean up and get 3 kills?
That's a good point. I've forgotten about that. I've forgotten the Wisp does have level 6. That is actually a really good point. In fact, yeah, that would have been bad. That would have been really bad for them.
Yeah, I mean, Ake was just dancing his way in River and then in Forest for so long there. And credit to VP. They have not seen or heard IO pretty much since the beginning of the game. IO has been completely shrouded in mystery. But they're like, would Ake really be this far out if the IO weren't level 6? And honestly, that's very good sort of spider sense, as it were, from VP to not go for that Enchantress and potentially get baited into a disastrous confrontation. They want to stop the snowball before it starts rolling, and it hasn't started rolling yet.
That or Ake just isn't shaking his hips hard enough. He needs to work it a bit better. He's going to take that creep. They're going to enchant the Centaur, going to roll out with that. Maybe they'll try and set up another kill. Does he have a smoke on him? Yes, he has yet another smoke.
Wow.
Just going to pick up level 6.
They're just buying
the Impetus.
Impetus, a huge boon to try to kill the Windrunner, of course. Well, I mean, she can get away with Windrun nonetheless, but still.
Yeah, I should mention the Bulldog has found himself a haster and can possibly set something up with that or not, and just grab it and run off.
Though, unfortunately, no hook shot.
I mean, it doesn't need to hook it. I mean, if you see someone you don't like, just run up to them with the haste and
That's a great
cog. And I mean, like you mentioned, Battery Assault, it's mean. It's really nasty.
Absolutely.
You find Prophet and trap him, and Battery Assault, he's buggered. Especially, he's gone with the Midas route too.
It looks like EGM, he is hanging out with Loda just now. Do they begin the tether process? Do they actually try to get these kills? Right now, Alliance playing this IO-CK combo as patiently as I've seen anybody do. They earned an early advantage. They won the middle lane. I mean, I think it's safe to say 65 last hits to 38. You've won that lane, especially with the 35 denies that S4 has had. And now they're just taking their time. They're scoping out. S4 is smoked. Ake is smoked. If they could find Airman in the last game played very, very far forward. I think he knows he has to stay farther back this time. Yeah, he peels off. Will Alliance try to parlay this into a tier 1 tower is my question now, I guess.
I think while they're here, they might as well. And we've got to keep in mind, like, Bulldog has been scouting the jungle non-stop with his rocks. If he spots someone, there is definitely the possibility that Chaos Knight and Ohio, they go for a ride. I mean, if he spots up the Nature's Prophet or, sees Ammon by himself in the jungle, they're so easy to kill. It's basically free food for him. As Ammon decides to grab up the Helm of the Dominator at the moment, and 1,400 gold for Nature's Prophet. See what he goes for next.
Yeah, I mean, still, I would guess KSI almost invariably goes for that Shadow Blade, and if the IO isn't packing dust, you might be okay getting away from a gank like that, but We'll have to see. I mean, I think you're right. There's a variety of things they can go for. Here's Chaos Knight and Io. Tame Wild. He goes back in. Really? They shackle EGM. He's taking a lot of damage. The Fade Bolt comes through. There's the Dragon Tail and another hit from Windrunner. And somehow, some way, the turnaround once again for the second game in a row. It's paying a little dividends that actually finishes the Face Boots for Windrunner. And Loda now retreats to the safety of the tower. That had to have been a little surprising just how quickly EGM dropped.
Yeah, I mean, Io is technically a strength hero, so he does... Like, he is fairly tanky. That said, he doesn't get that much per level, but he has been given a few little items and farm there. I mean, he's picked up the early Urn of Shadow, so he's not exactly a naked hero there.
Sure. But yeah, I mean, Io is a strength hero with 1.9 strength gains, so...
Yeah.
Still not the strongest strength hero of the bunch. It is just a diaphanous, glowing ball of something or other, so you can't blame it too much for not having a lot of HP.
I think the bigger problem is not so much the HP, the raw strength, it's his armor is terrible.
Sure.
He's sitting on one armor, and Windrunner has got the face, but she's hitting for over 100 at the moment.
You're totally right.
And with no resistance whatsoever, just bam. It's just a couple of auto attacks. He takes a surprising amount of damage. But right now, S4 lurking. In the jungle, here we go, there we go, teleporting in, we're going to have the Tamer, oh wow, look at EGM get blown apart, Bulldog as well, so much trouble, can he get away, Sandy's Eclipso jumps in, Rubik is down, it looks like a hook shot in from Bulldog, can they finish off, Mech gets popped there, Tamer while they're going to back up, Lena though, Laguna Blades dies herself, and now Astral Imprisonment, Aki has enchant up, this looks like Tamer Wild in a lot of trouble, and she's just going to teleport out, will she get away, she should escape, yep, there we go, she gets away.
Wow. That barely, but he does get away. VP, that didn't go quite as well as I think they were hoping, frankly. It was a 2-for-2 trade. Keep in mind, Alliance was none the wiser about the fact that there was a Shadow Blade, or rather a smoked gyrocopter, I believe? Or was it Smoker and Vizarud? So one of the two. So they didn't know he was there. So he pops that call down as soon as Alliance try to initiate. EGM drops like a rock once again. But hey, Loda lives. He's now 2-0-0, and... he's starting to get there. He has his drums, he has his power treads. I think that trade is okay for Alliance.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to go for the armlet next. He's 1k away from that. I assume he's going for the armlet anyway. He could, I suppose, arguably, get the BKB first. I mean, there's enough nukes and stuns on VP side that I definitely think you can make a case for going straight for the BKB against that, especially considering how aggressive he's going to be playing in the middle of all that fire. But I get the feeling that it will be an armlet nonetheless.
S4.
Looks like, wow, look how aggressive S4 is getting.
Yeah, he feels good about this game as OD. But he is going to have to truck his way on out. There were 3 VP heroes incoming. Luckily, Haste Rune OD, he's a speedy little fellow. Goes, I mean, 522, obviously the max movement speed with Haste Rune. And he goes on out of there, pretty safe, just warning a VP of his presence, saying, don't get too comfortable, guys. You can plant your wards all you like, but I am the biggest guy on this map. I am the highest level. I do the most damage. Fear me.
Not the most, like, doesn't have the best last hit, so he's a little bit behind the Gyrocop. That said, tons of early kills, though, to his name.
Yeah.
With all those early ganks. I mean, he's sitting on 2-0-1 for 40 minutes in. I mean, it doesn't seem like... I mean, we've seen some crazy games, but 2-0-1 for an OD who's had plenty of freedom, that's big. That's pretty damn big for him.
Yep.
And he's almost level 11 as well.
Yeah, and VP, for once, I mean, usually we see this team as the constant aggressor, but they absolutely correctly identify that here, against the CKIO, it's about stability, and it's about Black King Bar for Gyrocopter. They're going to rush it as early as they physically can. They're going to de-ward aggressively. In fact, Alliance have no observer wards on the map right now, or sentries. And as long as they don't get spotted out with a rocket following an immediate relocate to follow, once they get BKB, they're going to feel a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, Virtus Pro, like you said, they cannot fight right now. If they try and fight, it's going to be a 4v5, because Nature's Prophet doesn't have anything. He's still sitting on just the Hand of Midas at the moment. I mean, the Courier's carrying nothing for him, so yeah, they really don't want to try and fight. They try and fight, they can even against 5 heroes are all ready to go, all have their ults, they're all really, really tough and nasty, especially, you know, when you've got spells that hit as hard as Eclipse, you really don't want to mess with them and trying to force a 5v fight without that parity in terms of firepower. That said, it looks like Virtus Pro are going to try and pick off the top tier 1. Could grab this, but here we go. Nature's Prophet also going to head up here as well, so they're going to have the 4 heroes there, and meanwhile, it looks like Alliance are happy to trade for the tier 1 mid.
They can always relocate after if they so desire. They're already kind of low. They do take the tier 1 here, but simultaneously, VP, they do manage to match them pound for pound on the push. I do have to say Loda farming exceedingly well for Chaos Knight. This is frequently the problem when you try to pursue too many kills as CKIO, or you're always like, where's the relocate? Where's the relocate? I have to get these kills. And you end up way behind on farm and completely unable to flash farm later. But Loda's doing a good job. He's tied for level 11, so he's got the rank 2 Phantasm already, and the full armlet delivered to him by the courier just now. That's going to make those illusions from the level 2 Phantasm quite beefy indeed. And S4,
Yeah, beefy, of course.
In the Roche Pit solo?
I don't think he can do that. I mean, he's going to need Enchantress. Oh, there we go. He's just starting it up. Enchantress is on her way to help out. And they've got the ward up as well to watch his backside. There we go. Going to throw in the Ice Armor as well. Just going to slow Roshan out. That's definitely a really good pick up there.
It is.
To help them tank this. But that set's not going to last as long as it'd like, I think. Because, in fact, he's only got how many seconds left on that enchant? Not too long. It's probably going to wear out before the creep even dies. And that Bulldog is here, though. And if anything's going to slow it down as well, Battery Assault. Here it comes. Once those creep get picked off, he'll gun for that. In fact, going to rotate those creep. Allowing them to survive a little bit longer as well.
This is taking forever, though. Forever might even be a soft word for it. I mean, sure, they'll get the Aegis for Outworld Devourer, but they've spent so much time on this. I mean, the thing is, VP can't really do anything about it. I'm not even sure they know. They're probably just like, where the hell are these people? And that'll finish it off, actually. S4 with the Aegis? No, I think you're right. It's a pretty big deal. VP, they take a tower. Will Alliance pincer them right now? Oh, the missed hook shot. If that had landed, Relocate was coming down, but instead Bulldog off by inches, and VP breathe easy. A sigh of relief, really, in my opinion.
I'm just waiting for Outworld to sell off that branch or something and pick up a nasty big item like, say, go straight for the staff or at least pick up the Ultimate Orb and make himself even tougher to remove. We'll see what he goes for. Windrunner, though, gets some mech done, so they've got some of that ready. And there we go, Arcane Boots for Alliance, so they've got some, rather, for VP, so they've got some sustain now. IO also grabbing his own one, so both teams now with the mana sustain definitely going to help them out. That said, I mean, they've already got the Outworld, so they can just proc the Essence Aura as well with their spammy spells.
EGM
but it looks like the stack.
Yeah. It is a nice stack for VP. Will that get Illidan as BKB finally? No, not even quite yet. I mean, they've had to be so careful. They've had to watch out for ganks so often that Gyrocopter's GPM actually nothing special. 366, but below where OD and Chaosnet are at, even with these 2 quick tower kills that they managed to secure. So, not quite where VP want to be at yet for them to fight, while Alliance just getting comfy. I mean, EGM has now a nice loadout for Wisp. The Arcane Boots and the Urn of Shadows. No charges on it yet, sure, but they'll come.
And of course, the other big deal is the fact that they do have that mech as well on the OD. Makes his target a lot harder to pick off if you have those heals available. S4, though, well on his way to finishing off his Sheepstick. I assume that's going to be a Sheepstick, although the Shadow Blade now done on Furion. So Furion's actually got a little bit of hitting power now. Not fantastic. I mean, pretty sure Windrunner's still hitting hard. Yeah, Windrunner is still pretty much hitting harder than he is, so there's always that to consider.
Do you think they'd just go 4-staff for Windrunner again here? Same build that they did last time? Just treat this game the same way, even though it's not going quite as well?
Here's the problem. If they don't get the 4-stuff, I mean, they can't really get anybody who's in trouble out, and I don't think Lina or Rubik are getting enough farm to get those support items. So, let's say if Illidan gets caught out, they don't have anybody to bring him back to safety, and that does bother me a bit. And the other thing, the big reason that they want a 4-stuff is to help deal with cogs, I think.
Sure. Tamar Wild, he gets defensively Astral Imprison? No, offensively. S4, he's jumping in. No BKB for Airman. He's got to be very careful here. He's in a lot of trouble. Sanity's Eclipse could come through. There it is. He's still alive. The mechanism used, but there's the relocate. Loda and EGM have come in. Nice Light Strike array from Arsart. They're trying to make half a loaf here. Gyrocopter down. Lina down. All they've gotten is the IO so far. And Alliance, they feel comfortable. They're going right onto the tower here. We actually have 2 buybacks. But if they don't catch Alliance here, this is a tremendous amount of gold wasted for nothing much. They do get S4. There's the Aegis. Will they get him again? 2 Astral Imprisonments up, 1 from NS. He's taking a tremendous amount of damage from this Armlet Chaos Knight. There's S4 back in the fray. Arsart will take his 2nd death. Illidan and KSI just trying to flee out. This is VP doubling down and not getting what they needed. S4 still chasing Airman. Still going. He doesn't have 4-staff, so I think Gyro probably gets out, but this is a bought back Gyro. This is a Gyro that paid dearly for the privilege of participating in this team fight once again. And he gets rebuffed. In fact, VP get rebuffed completely. 1 for 4 in this fight, and 2 buybacks, the additional cost.
Yeah, I want to make a note that this is the exact kind of fight that Rox Kiss in their first game were fighting so hard to make sure they avoided. Like, we saw them just completely avoid engagements. Like, I really feel like the buyback there was not a smart move from VP. The fact they jumped back in there, sure they got the OD, but I mean, they didn't really consider the OD has the Aegis, so you're going to kill him and then what? He just pops straight back up and then slaughters you. And, I mean, they didn't even hookshot that fight either.
No.
I mean, Alliance just completely murdered them, didn't even bother a hookshot. Sure, they lost Wisp, and that's about it.
This was Alliance playing IO patiently and then striking at the exact right moment. They catch VP a little bit out of position, they catch VP a little bit out of sorts, and most importantly, they catch them before Gyro gets BKB, which has now been delayed quite a bit by the fact that he bought back during that fight. I mean, sure, it's only 500, but that's 500 he needed for that BKB. He's now 300 gold away still. And Ake, now with 3.6k in terms of loose gold, do we just see him go for the Ags to close this out?
I mean, yeah, he's got the treads. Why not just get the Aghanims there? And that does a lot. Like, you pretty much, if Lina tries to get anywhere near the fight, you can pretty much, like, 2-3 shot her. She dies so quickly.
Sure.
She has picked up, that said, she's picked up an Ogre Club. That to me screams BKB.
Oh, absolutely. Arsart loves... The only thing he loves more than BKB is Sange, but he hasn't built it in a while. We used to see him go Sange a lot on supports, but lately he loves the BKB a lot more. Who can blame him? The magic damage getting thrown out by teams at the beginning of teamfights has just grown and grown and grown. It's all about just blowing up the other team. And against Outworld Devourer, hey, if this Lina does manage to sneak a BKB, and suddenly she's a major force to be reckoned with.
At the very least, she can't get immediately shut down by a whole bunch of stuns. I remember the first week that Fnatic showed up in TPL, they actually built a Monkey King bar, carry Lina, and just ran around slaughtering people with that. It was actually pretty hilarious. Mini stuns everywhere.
She's a big deal when she gets that early farm. Of course, Arsart, I don't think we'll see him going MKB this game, but certainly that BKB could make a difference. And Alliance, at this point, after that fight, they have to feel like they're at the top of the heap. Loda's farming. He's actually has the highest GPM in the game. Outworld Devourer is still farming. He's now extremely close to that Scythe of Vice, and so they're just hitting their benchmarks, I think, faster than VP are hitting theirs. How much time did it take Illidan to actually hit this BKB? He's only had it for about a minute, and that's 22 minutes in, and that's all he's got.
Yeah, if we look at the gold chart, it's still it's not insurmountable. It's a 4k lead roughly there for Alliance. Experience though is a bit more of an issue. 7,500 experience lead. That's gonna be what hurts. In fact, they've got those level 2 ults. Right? Lina doesn't have level 2 ult. I mean, that said, Winter, of course, no ult to speak of. You don't take it on her. But yeah, the only level 2 ult they've got up and running is the cooldown.
Sure.
Oh, and Nature's Wrath, I forgot about that one as well. But yeah, I mean, neither of those are as big a deal as having the level 2 hookshot, level 2 Phantasm, Sandy's Clips, as well as the fact Impetus with the Aghanims. That's really painful. Getting that, like the early levels and that's really, really painful. But now, bottom lane, Telekinesis, cooldown as well. Looks like Bulldog's going to take a quick one-way trip to hell as he gets picked off there very, very easily. 4v1, not fair odds at all. And now OD finishes up the Scythe of the Vice. Clockwork also building a BKB, is about 300 gold short on that.
Yeah, Bulldog taking a drop there. I mean, but yeah, that doesn't take him that far from his BKB. It's a shame that he didn't quite afford it before that happened, but he'll still hit it pretty quickly. And VP, I don't know. Oh, uh-oh, this is a fight. Here comes the relocate. Nice light strike immediately from Arsart. The EGM will go on the ground, but Loda, he's tearing through with his newly made BKB. Lina, it's like she wasn't even there. There's the BKB from Illidan, but he's on the chase. Loda's going straight towards him. The Rocket Barrage only manages to hit Chaos Knight Illusions, and that's 3 on the ground. A triple kill for Loda. EGM somehow surviving through that fight as well, which is frankly is just madness. And now
he
5-11.
got S4. S4 was his guardian angel. Dropped the Astral Imprisonment when he was like at 10 health. Dropped the Astral Imprisonment and allowed him to get away.
That is huge. The fact that the IO survives, they get 3, they get Airman down again. I mean, you just see his GPM is completely static. He hasn't been able to accelerate his farm. And in that fight, you saw even when the Gyro BKBs, if the rest of his team falls down, he's like a Skeleton King that just resurrected, and he's playing the voiceover, guys, there was nobody there, and VP forced to sort of flee in disarray with Alliance seeking to just break down their door.
And things are going to go from bad to worse. The bigger issue, they just lost their gem. Enchantress has it now, and she's dewarding with it. They're about to lose all map control.
Ouch.
This is going to make it even harder, even more like problematic for Airman to even have a chance to farm.
NS, he steals the Reality Rift. This is something. He uses the Telekinesis. There's the Astral Imprisonment, immediately responds on Loda. The first hit of the cooldown already misses. There's the Sanity's Eclipse. And that hits on one. Loda BKB'd once again. He's in the fray. Airman also BKB'd though, and he's returning a lot of damage. Loda on the ground. S4 in trouble. They're slaying them. They've gotten 2. Actually, S4 is in an Astral Imprisonment, but he'll be going down quickly. The Rocket Barrage picks him off. Bulldog and Ake, the only remaining alive players. They have gotten 2 of VP so far, but Bulldog's certainly in trouble. The Rocket Barrage also cleaning up, and they've recovered the gem, Triumph. I mean, they knew they needed to. They knew they needed a fight there, and that's basically the fight they needed. Airman lives, gets a grip of kills, and Alliance all on the floor.
I mean, they were going to do it. That was the time. They knew Hookshot's down, Eclipse is down. They've lost. They don't have Phantasm either. That was definitely the way to go. If you're going to engage in a 5v5 against that lineup, that's the time to do it. Make sure they don't have their big ults up.
Absolutely, and excellent timing of Illidan's BKB. Just as it came off cooldown, he used it. I think maybe Alliance thought that he was still on cooldown, but the Sanity's Eclipse ended up doing a tremendous amount of damage, but not quite enough to kill Lina. Not quite enough to kill... I mean, Airman just went through BKB through the whole thing, and so Alliance finds themselves stymied in their attempt on this tier 2. It's actually still alive, even. A low health, but alive.
Should also mention the experience swing. That just went from a 10,000 lead to only a 4,000. So 6,000 shift there. And gold dropping down from over 5,000 to almost only a 2.5k deficit there for Virtus Pro. So a big, really much needed swing for them. Should also mention right now, it looks like we're getting close to... It looks like we're getting fairly close to Nature's Prophet. I mean, I say fairly close, but he's still like, what, 2,000 gold away from getting it. But that said, Nature's Prophet farms so damn quick with the Midas and stuff. I think he's going to pick it up fairly soon, within the next 3 minutes or so.
I agree.
He'll get that Hex.
And yeah, that gold swing, that XP swing, a little bit of a product of the additional changes in 6.78. I mean, that was the first death for 3 of Alliance's players, for S4, for Loda, and Ake. So they got a lot of kill streak ending thing there. And here they go. VP, they want more. S, he gets 4-staff forward. Loda's in a world of hurt. He is killed by the Laguna Blade, and EGM, he wanted to get the tether and the relocate, and he did not quite get it. He is going to come back, and this IO is going to be wiped off the face of the planet right quick. Actually, they missed the Light Strike array, but... I don't even know why I brought that up, because it was not germane to what happened.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the Light Striker misses, but when you've got a Chaos Bolt, yeah, he's not going to. I was just wondering if he was going to bring a friend back, you know, make the big plays, try and kill everybody, but unfortunately S4 didn't want to come back and try and slaughter everybody.
Who could you bring
he
back,
didn't have
really? Yeah.
Maybe he would. If he had Sanity's Eclipse, he might have said, you know, let me try and kill everybody here just for shits and giggles, but that said... We see, KSI dives in on top of Aki. 3-second Chaos Bot as well. He's being healed up though. Telekinesis as well, but here comes S. No, he's actually decided to chicken out a little bit. Coming back in, throws in the save though. Might be enough. Light Strike Array comes down, clips Aki as well. Aki though somehow, nope, there we go. He's down. Gem on the ground as well. Can they get a second one? S4 going for it. Gets baited a little bit. Chaos Bolt. S4's in trouble. Light Strike Array, 2 down. Get that gem. Can they grab it? Windrunner, no, doesn't pick it up. It's still on the ground. Illidan going to grab it? No, still on the ground, leaving it there. There we go. Lina runs in, grabs it, and she's only 500 gold away. We'll have that BKB very soon once his tower goes down as well. So now, 2 gems for Virtus Pro. Alliance losing all their gems. That's a lot of their early money gone.
It is, frankly, and it's the inability to control the map as well. You've got Outworld Devourer on the ground for 37 seconds, no buyback. Ake, no buyback. He has barely any gold to his name. Do VP just go for Roshi, or do they not feel quite safe enough? There is a tier 1 tower up for Alliance. Looks like they're sending in the trees. Oh man, they're gonna loop around again. Can they get another kill? No. EGM and Loda clearing on out of there wisely, and actually VP have lost a lot of their time for the free Roshan if they wanted it. S4 is up in 14 seconds. Do they go for it, Triumph?
With a hook shot to jump in, but they can't really detect from the dire side and relocate and Sanity's Eclipse.
Good point.
I mean, pretty much they wouldn't even bring the Chaos Knight in. It would pretty much hook shot in, trap everybody, relocate to the high ground, Sanity's Eclipse, and just shit on everybody like that, and have Clockwork provide line of sight, and then Chaos Knight enchant shop when they feel like it.
And another.
I just want to.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, you go.
No,
you go.
I was gonna say this is another game in this TPL Season 5 Radiance Cup we've had that. One team starts off with a big lead, and then just they hunker down, and they get stability. And I'm surprised that it's VP that we're talking about that's really stabilized. Not a team that's known for getting behind early and stabilizing, but they feel stable to me, Triumph. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. They have a habit of just snorting crack and then just rolling the dice. I also want to mention that for a short while, they were ahead on terms of both gold and experience. Now it is slightly dropping back towards Alliance, but definitely, I guess, a big swing. They had a 5,000 plus gold lead, 10,000 plus experience lead, and it's all gone. Yeah. It's just all gone.
And I mean, even Airman, he's only has 2 deaths. He's 7-2 now. Loda was 6-0, and now Loda's behind Airman in terms of both teamfight participation and just kills. Chaos Knight is a hero that simply does not scale that fantastically to the late game. Heart will do a lot of work, though. I like this Heart pickup for the Chaos Knight. Not quite done with it yet, of course, but it'll get a lot of the way there. Tamai Wild, he's scouting. They know well that Alliance are trying to take this Roshan. S4, Bulldog, and Ake are clearing out of here. There's the Shackle, doesn't latch.
Oh, if that had latched it to OD, that would have been a huge, huge problem from that. So I don't know if Virtus.pro could have relocated quite fast enough. Because, I mean, right now, Alliance do have the better mobility there. They don't really... if they get a Blink Dagger, like, Rubik is getting close to a Blink. Once he gets a Blink, suddenly NS is a huge threat. Once he gets that Blink, just the instantaneous Blink lift and somebody's out of the fight, that's a big problem for them. And if they can use that to bring OD out of position and get him killed, that's definitely a big deal. That said, he is well on his way to a BKB. 800 gold in the bank. Yes, what? 2,000 gold away from that?
Yeah, exactly 2,000 gold. So S4, yeah, he's getting there. I mean, his GPM is still respectable. It has fallen precipitously. I mean, he was at 450. Now he's fallen to about where Nature's Prophet is at. And Nature's Prophet has the Midas and the power of loads of money on his side. So I think we'll start seeing the NP ahead of him. And Airman now matching Loda pound for pound as well. I don't know that the heart really changes things. I mean, it does give Loda tremendous survivability, but Arsart now with the BKB as well. I mean, he could be a factor. And NS, they've been using the Force Staff as a pseudo-blink already. You talked about the 2 blinks last game. Force Staff on somebody else plus blink on himself gives him 2 blinks again.
I think they don't, so I don't think they want to double blink. The Force Staff's great and all, but I don't think they want to waste on him. I think they really need to save it for Illidan.
Sure.
Just to keep him out of trouble.
Oh,
or
wow!
Somebody gets,
Holy...
Oh, whoa! Holy crap.
Huh.
Rapier.
No Aegis, though. So...
That's...
risky.
Game of Thrones. Here we go.
Well. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, Triumph. It's not thrown just yet. But I get where you're coming from.
You win, then you feed. Illidan. Can we make this happen? My god, that is ballsy indeed. They, this is it, though. They might just bait. They might bait the Roshan, and then Illidan sneaks up on them, and then slaughters them all with a flat cannon.
They could.
And Divine Rapier, because they don't know he's got it. He just got it.
They know. They use the rockets. They have to know now.
Well, that's it. Did they click on Illidan?
I don't know.
Who would expect him to have a freaking Rapier at 33 minutes in with no Aegis?
Yeah,
who would do that?
Who would do that? Virtus.pro would do that, my friend.
Like I said, stability. Virtus.pro, sometimes they just snort a line of crack and off they go, roll the dice.
They just raise the stakes of this game tremendously. They raise the stakes of the next engagement from, okay, maybe it'll tip the scales one way or another, to the next engagement may decide this entire freaking game. And in fact, we're talking about a team on match point. How often does the team on match point go for such a high-risk, high-reward move like this? Usually it's like, well, we're ahead one, we can play safe, worst comes to worst, we lose.
Look how Illidan's working. Look what he's doing. They know, he figured they don't know I've got this. This is their ace. This is their pocket ace.
But the Aegis is going to Alliance. They're in the pit already, and VP are very far away. This is not only no Aegis, this is no Aegis available. They're going to just put this on S4 or Loda, and they'll have it. They'll have that in their pocket.
Oh man, this is definitely really dangerous. They might even just, I mean, Virtus.pro might even just go screw it and wait that out. They really, although that said, I don't think they can hide the Rapier for 6 minutes. Jesus
I don't
Christ.
know, there's
and they're
the
going
hook
for a hook shot in, here we go. Call down comes out, BKBs are being activated here. Can LD's flat cannoning away, down goes OD, he's going to be up again though. Can they get him a second time? Loaded now, causing some serious damage to BKB, keeping him back there. Now they're Hex, oh no, Rapier. Can they give it away? 4-star out, that's what they need to load it now, taking a lot of damage there. OD though, still causing tons of damage there. Tamo Wild is down, as it looks like we will have Illidan TP out. Will he get away just in time? They lose one apiece. Or do they? There we go. Furion also going. So 2 for 1, although technically 2 for 2, seeing as OD did lose his Aegis. But now the Rapier is revealed.
It is. If they didn't know before, which I still feel like they maybe did, but now they know. And Loda, not quite done with the heart, but already the Reaver and Vit Booster did tremendous work there. Just the fact that Chaos Knight was able to live and consistently use Chaos Bolt time after time after time, and now Alliance, haha, they see they're on the clock and we see them pushing. They're like, okay, we lost Aegis, fine. Try to stop us, try to bait your, like, if you put Gyrocopter in our face, we're ready, willing, and able to just kill him and take your Rapier. And VP, they're a team that now I feel almost has to play scared a little bit. Because you lose the Rapier, it's over.
Oh yeah, definitely. If they lose the Rapier, they've got to really watch out for that. That said, I mean, that fight, the only thing that kept them in that fight was when it was S4 had 2 lives. If he didn't come straight back,
Sure.
I really feel like they could have just blasted down Loda. They just had to wait at the Black King bar. And it's going to get easier. That Black King bar down to 7 seconds now, so a lot easier, a lot simpler. That said, big problem, BKB now on Outworld Devourer.
Yes, this is a huge... I mean, they can still deal a tremendous amount of damage to him with the flat cannon. Let's be clear about that. But
oh, yeah, it's true.
Lina will not be able to just outright slay that Outworld Devourer. And by the way, Arsart clearly listening to this cast. I'm joking, people, he's not listening to the cast. Here's the second Ogre Club, and this is Assange. This is probably a Heaven's Halberd.
Yeah, alright. Yeah, no, I can see that. I can see that definitely working. And of course, if they throw that down on the cast and on the OD, here's the thing. If they can open up... Because yeah. I mean, right now, like, that or the Chaos Knight, of course, he does dish out a lot of damage too. I mean, that said, whoever runs out the BKB earliest on, because, I mean, this is a 10-second BKB. I don't know if Lina can stay in the fight for that long.
I agree with you.
To wait it out.
That's a great point. But ideally, I feel like they'd want the OD for 2 reasons. Ranged, so you have the longer duration of the Halberd, and B, he doesn't have these illusions that don't care whether or not the main hero is disarmed. True. But I totally agree with you. They'll take whatever they can get. Once they get the Halberd, of course. We're getting ahead of ourselves. VP sieging the Tier 2. Alliance playing conservatively for now. They don't, frankly, need this Tier 2 just yet. Roche isn't even for another, what, 8 minutes? They don't need this yet. And VP, still a scary position to be in this team, I think, because you still have this Rapier and no opportunity for Aegis.
Yeah, and that and Alliance have, or rather, VP have the better opening. They have the better initiation with the Ruby. The instantaneous lift is really much more versatile. Hookshot is great, but you've got to get the angle on it. You've got to get that angle on it, whereas it can pretty much, Rubik can just guarantee he grabs S4 and sets him up to get obliterated.
He's in trouble. They find him. That was a long... Actually, he's still alive. He's got the 1 second for the win run. Can he shackle? He shackles Loda. What an escape. They run out of the 12-second timer. Oh my god, the hookshot.
4-star almost saving him. Unfortunately, finished off there by a rocket flare. Close. That said, I mean, it's only their windrunner, so nothing. I mean, it's not the gyrocopter.
Yeah.
At the very least, not the gyrocopter.
I need a bumper sticker for that. At least it's not gyrocopter that just died. KSI, he's got his Scythe of Vice. This has been a fairly quiet Nature's Prophet, I feel. Not as dominant as he had the game last time. I mean, 0-2 and 9, in fact. Nature's Prophet has barely participated. He has Scythe, but you mentioned the OD with the 10-second BKB. It's really they kill the OD with Gyrocopter, or they don't and he kills them. And that's a tough position to be in if you're VP.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, I mean, the biggest asset, of course, from this flat cannon and Divine Rapier is the fact that Loda's illusions, I think, even with Heart, are going to get exploded really quickly. So there's always that to consider. So it's pretty much they just need to get OD. Excellent. That's all. You know, then I take that back a little bit. Aki can still dish out a lot of damage with Impetus. There is that as well.
Sure. And Loda, I have to commend him. Chaos Knight, a hero who so frequently runs into the wall of no longer being able to farm because he doesn't keep up, he doesn't get items like Armlet that let him flash farm more effectively. Loda, to his credit, is still peaking the gold charts. The GPM is higher on him than on Gyrocopter, and this is a Gyrocopter that has a freaking Rapier. So Loda, he's got 2.8k. We'll see him make a new item soon.
S4.
Wow, this is risky once again. There's the Scythe. He doesn't have his BKB just yet. He's going to take a lot of damage. They've locked him down. He's actually in a relocate. EGM took him out of that fight. Bulldog's on the ground, though. Loda stunned up, but here come the cavalry. Chaos Knight running in. Arsard uses his BKB. Illidan! He's so close. One more. Oh my god, the Rapier's on the ground. They have it. Ake has... Actually, no, it's still on the ground. Loda wants it. He has it now. Chaos Knight holding the Divine Rapier, and they get S4 out, and they only lose Bulldog. That fight turned sour for VP in a jiffy. KSI TPing out, but have they been dealt... I mean, as close to a death blow as possible, I think. Tame My Wild, he gets out. Actually, he's body blocking EGM, so he can't stun him with the tether. That was really, really neat. But it's kind of a frippery when taken in light of the fact that Chaos Knight is now holding Rapier.
Well, if Na'Vi taught us anything, if you're going to do like this kind of play, you need 2 ethereal blades and multiple 4-stars. One is not going to cut it. And, well, there you go. Gyrocopter getting brought down. So, yeah, we have a Heart, an Armlet, a Rapier, and it's all on Chaos Knight. I mean, suddenly, OD is not the problem. I mean, oddly enough, you never thought I'd say that, but suddenly OD is not the issue here. No. It's Chaos Knight.
It's Chaos Knight. I agree with you completely. Is there any hope for Virtus Pro now? And if so, what do you do as them?
Well, I think one benefit, the only thing that's they count their lucky stars is the fact the illusions, I'm pretty sure, don't get the damage from Rapier, the flat damage, so there is that. It's just going to be the primary. Yeah. The primary guy. That said, the crit strike 3.
Yeah.
He's over 500.
God. terrifying.
And
that's
if he
no
crits with it 3 times, hey, that's 1,500 crits right there. That is, ouch.
It's Ghost Scepter
And that's
time.
with Armlet turned off too.
Sure. Now, NS has his Ghost Scepter. Arsart does not, Tame My Wild does not, KSI certainly does not, although he has 4240. Is this time for some Eth-Blades?
If they can get it, sure. I just don't know if they can. I mean, I've got to say, that said, last fight, definitely, MVP Wisp.
Sure.
S4 so close to dying. Had
Absolutely.
he died, completely different fight there.
I agree completely, and Loda managing to reinforce from that point just completely flipped the fight on its ear, and it's really changed the game. I mean, VP knew that VP was going a high risk, high reward, and the risk side is currently weighing heavily on them as Chaos Knight now 25.5k net worth. Oh, there's a hook shot. Illidan actually force-staffed right back out of it, so Bulldog, here comes the relocate though. Did he cogs? No, he didn't, but there's the reality rift, and you just see Tame My Wild dropping like a stone. Phantasm for Rubik. God, this is hard to watch. These poor supports, and not even supports, the mid, this poor mid, just destroyed in an instant by the Chaos Knight Phantasms, and of course the main Chaos Knight as well. It's terrifying. I am terrified, and I'm not even in the game.
It's like, you get a crit, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead, and you're dead. He's just gonna kill everything now. And yeah, there we go. I mean, right now, Virtus Pro, KSI doing all he can to try and stave off with a bit of a split push, but you know, to be honest, I don't think Alliance give a crap. They're just going to take this Rax.
Yeah, he's trying to build Cuirass for a little bit of armor to try to stand against this Rapier, but oh, another hook shot from Bulldog. This one on Arsart. Trouble for him. He actually, wow, yeah, he left and I didn't even notice that he actually died, but he is definitely on the ground. Call down for Illidan. This is almost a last-ditch effort, frankly. What can they do? They have to kill this Chaos Knight right the frick now. Tame My Wild, he bought back and he's dead in an instant. I don't think they can stand against this Rapier. I'm an inveterate optimist, Tame My Wild. Sorry, Triumph, but I don't know, man. This is a
no
second
way.
set
I mean,
of
you've got the Wisp, the Overcharge shielding him. You've got the Astral Imprisonment if he's really in trouble, and as well as the extra heals there from Tether. And he's got a freaking heart and an armlet and a BKB. No, he's not dying, and he's just going to kill everything.
Yep. Loda kill them all is the story of the late game here as Alliance reclaim that Rapier, or not reclaim it, I should say claim it away from VP, and I mean, I think people are going to be debating for a while, Triumph. Was taking the Rapier the mistake, or was it that engagement top?
I almost, I think this would have been, like, the big swinging point of this game. This would have been such a different game if Alliance didn't get that Aegis.
Sure.
I mean, they had to reveal, they went down there and they had to reveal that Rapier didn't get a good fight in, you know, got one guy.
Sure.
If they just, I mean, they got one good fight in, because OD, I don't think he had enough of buybacks now. They got one good fight in there, that could have been easily a Rax, and then, you know, take the Rax and go and get the Aegis for their own, and that could have been a completely different fight. But that said, I mean, crazy, like you said, you know, it's big risk, big reward. That said, only game 2 in a best of 3. It's one apiece now. And Virtus Pro can try something a little bit more sane. Oh, you know what? Just get even wilder. Who knows?
No, double down on it. They've got a guy who literally used to be named Crazy, and he changed his name to Tame My Wild, which I don't think they're being successful in taming it just yet, because they went all out. And yeah, I think that's an interesting theory. I sort of presented you 2 options there, and you took a more intelligent third one, which is, okay, you can take the Rapier. Okay, you can go all in on it, but don't try to steal a tier 2 when the other team is all in on Roshan, because they take that Aegis. I completely agree with you. Alliance at that point run in terror from every possible engagement, and with no Aegis, they don't.
Knew. I don't think they knew what was happening. Like that looked like they weren't trying to take the tier 2. They were baiting for that fight. They wanted OD to come in and try and slaughter people, and then just go, you know what, flat cannon with Divine Rapier, you are screwed. Then we saw exactly how far, like, he was hanging back so far. And then they figured, they're not defending. What's going here? They realized, must be the Roshan, started running down there. But unfortunately, just too late. Didn't get there in time.
Yep. And that'll do it, folks, for Game 2 of this Grand Final Series, and I am delighted that we are going to a decisive Game 3. Both of these games great so far. We will have to see if Alliance or VP manage to take the Premier League Season 5 Radiance Cup. You can, of course, check it out in-game ticket, Dota TV. You can buy it on Dota Store or in-game, or in the TPL store on thepremierleague.eu. I'll cut the promotion a little bit short here, folks, as we will head up into Game 3 in just a moment. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope to join you for the next game in just a moment.